What about Jacob Blake Sr.? What did you glean from that conversation and the Blake family potential role in the conversations that occurred Wednesday through Friday? Dave?
Yeah, Jacob Blake Sr., first of all, just remarkable spirit. I can't imagine the whirlwind that it must have felt like to not only process the fact that your son is now paralyzed from the waist down, but you were grieving process, or your struggle is being played out for not just the country to see, but the world to see. And I was just bowled over by his grace and his recognition that things will get better because they have to get better, and also his gratitude to care about his story. He told me, I think this might have been a little bit of hyperbole, but he told me barely 5 minutes had passed since the Bucks left the court for good in their game that they decided not to play against Orlando Magic, when he got a phone call, and it was the Bucks on the line, and they told him from their own voices what they were doing in order to stand up against the police brutality that was enacted upon his son. And he said he started crying. Then he said Giannis Antetokounmpo started crying in front of the entire team. And he said it touched him deeply. And that support, he said, is something that has helped him get through this past week. Because it was just 8 days ago when Jacob Blake, 29-year-old black man, was shot 7 times in the back by Kenosha, Wisconsin police. No matter what the background behind that story was, what the police were responding to, that's not the role of police officers in our society. They are not judge and jury. They are not executioners. They are keepers of the peace. And he just said that his spirits have been lifted. It's fueled him in order to continue to do things like leave his family temporarily to fly down to Washington for the March on Washington and speak about his family's story, to try to continue to touch hearts and minds of people in this country who don't quite understand how vital equality truly is for us to have a working and functioning democracy.
So, just to revisit, 5 minutes after the Bucks say we're not playing, and your colleague at the Times, Mark Stein, in an interview with Michael Carter Williams of the Magic, said Carter Williams got a text from Giannis basically saying we're not coming out of the locker room again, because it was Bucks in Orlando, and that's the way the Magic kind of learned about it, that they make this decision and say let's get Jacob Blake Sr. on the phone as a team. That happened last week.
That happened, yeah. And then furthermore, later on that night, when the 13 teams still here in Orlando had that contentious meeting where everybody put everything out on the table, and they started the meeting by inviting the Blake family to join in on Zoom. Now, there were some technical difficulties, but the intention was, we want your guidance on what we should do here. And Jacob Blake Sr. told me that, he said he was floored by that gesture. He said, these are young men with their own livelihoods. Who am I to tell them what to do? But even the fact that they sought his input meant so much to him, because it was, recognizing him, seeing him, believing that he had some wisdom that could help their situation.